What's up, and welcome back to Interpreting the Stars, where today I will be reviewing the 2019 Disney Plus live-action remake of Lady and the Tramp. Originally, my planned review for today was going to be Angel Has Fallen, which came out to digital this week, but I just couldn't say no to Disney Plus, man! They released two original films on opening day, Noelle and Lady and the Tramp, and I decided this would be the perfect way to break in the new service because guess what? This is also the 100th 2019 film that I've seen in the year. All in all, I'm having a pretty good day. I should be reviewing Noelle 2 later on this week, so keep an eye out on my channel for that. But for now, let's get started with Lady and the Tramp. Opposites attract in this live-action remake of a Disney classic about two very different dogs that fall victim to the throes of romance. One is a pristine, elegant, one might call fancy dog, and one is a stray, a vagrant, a dog on his own. Both have a very different view of the world, and yet both are quite smitten with one another. Alright, so before I start the review itself, I want to first say that I was never really a huge fan of the original animated film for Lady and the Tramp. I didn't hate it, it's just one of the few classics that came and went without a second thought on my end. Not unlike The Jungle Book, which affected me in the same kind of way. Maybe I just don't like animals. While I remembered certain sequences like the shared spaghetti scene and the Siamese cats, I couldn't tell you what else happened in the film. I was hoping that the first film from the Disney Plus service would have more of an impressionable mark than the original did, but did it? Well, I'm not entirely sure, but I feel like I can definitely respect it more for the story it was trying to convey, but tonally, it's still not really for me. It is, however, very, very cute. My family just adopted a dog about a month ago or so, and I even threw the name Lady out there because she looks somewhat similar to the dog in this movie. That name was shot down, of course. They chose Maggie or something, but the fact is, I feel more of a kinship towards dogs now, so I'm gonna connect more with the characters in the film, which is a good thing. One of the main things that I wanted to know about this service going in was, is this a movie that feels more like a Disney film that you'd see in the theaters, or next week's original movie found on the Disney Channel? We all know that there is a difference between the two, and I can say it almost feels like it's somewhere in between. And I think a big reason for that has something to do with visuals. The CGI in the faces of these dogs sometimes doesn't work for me. Big Disney films that reach the theater have a more seamless transition than this one does, but it's also miles better than anything you'd see on the Disney Channel. My guess is it'll only get better from here, which is a really great thing to think about because it's not bad at all. It's just slightly noticeable. It's also not trying to be a blockbuster, which is really, really important to take under consideration. Movies like Lady and the Tramp, as well as Noelle, are perfect films to kick off the service, especially because when they were being made, nobody had any clue on how it would turn out, if it would be successful, if they'd actually make money off of it, so maybe they didn't want to finance it as much as big theater films. But I think we can all agree at this point that investing more into future releases would be a pretty safe bet. I mean, on opening day, I didn't think I'd get to watch it because my app crashed more than once, which I took to mean everybody was clamoring in to sign up for the service all at once, which is pretty awesome. Anyways, another element that you look for in a classic remake like this is the revitalization of Disney magic the original films were known for, and there were times that I definitely felt that in this movie, but other times I didn't. I'm not entirely sure if that's because I'm older now or some other reason, because they seem to have everything that they needed to have. They had the songs, they had pretty great chemistry between the dogs. I especially liked the voice acting between the Lady and the Tramp. I think they worked really, really well together. You definitely feel that budding romance slowly build, which is quite honestly what the movie is all about. Now, when it comes down to personal bias, I think one of the things that I didn't quite like about it growing up is the same thing that affects me now, and that is the coming of age aspect. I'd certainly say that romance is the main ingredient of the film, but it's also about finding out something about yourself as you go on a journey, which is fine on its own, but there isn't an actual story goal that the dogs are seeking out. Why does that matter? Because it affects other elements of the story. For instance, all kids' movies feel an obligation to include a villain. Like in this movie, there's a dog catcher. Sure, the dog catcher is a villain, but he's not a strong antagonist. And really, he's not even an antagonist at all, because from a literary standpoint, an antagonist is written to be diametrically opposed to the protagonist's goal, not the protagonist himself. And like I said, there is no goal. So when you have a bad guy that is basically against the protagonist to be against the protagonist, it's just plain weak writing, and you consider those people to be contagonists more than anything. There is a difference. Also, before I forget, I don't think the production design was quite up to par. You can somewhat tell which era they were trying to convince the audience Lady and the Tramp took place in, but a lot of that felt pretty forced, almost like it was fake. And once again, it's nothing that is nightmare-inducingly bad. It's just a small detail that, once again, I noticed. Anyways, what did I score Lady and the Tramp? 71%. 71 out of 100 possible stars, granting it the letter grade of C-. Coincidentally, that's the same exact score that I gave the 2010 live-action remake of Alice in Wonderland. It's not a bad start for the Disney Plus service as a whole, and I'm definitely looking forward to what's to come next. Guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts of the new Lady and the Tramp film below, as well as what you actually think about this whole Disney Plus service, which just rolled out. Where does it rank in the world of streaming? As for YouTube, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button if you like this review and would like to see some more like it. Hit the thumbs up button because that always helps out my channel. And don't forget about the little bell icon because that helps notify you when I come out with my next review. But until then,